Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. We are here at Axpona 2016 with Michael Fremer, who knows everything about vinyl, everything about turntables, and he's going to enlighten us as to what the budget audiophile can do. What can you do with it?
I'm talking to the person that sees vinyl. This vinyl thing isn't going away. Hey, it's coming back. I want to get a turntable. I don't want to spend the farm. I don't want to bet. So what do I do?
What's the first thing they should do?
So the first thing, you have to have a cleaning machine. You can go and buy a $4,000 machine, but we're not talking about that now. We're saying this Spin Clean, which I've written about, it's $79, and it's a vat full of a special fluid that has a coagulating thing in it. So whatever dirt it lifts off of the record falls to the bottom and turns into a ball of blah. So
it's a ritual, right? It becomes part of the ritual of record playing.
But I object to this ritual. You know why people like records? Because it's a ritual. You know what a ritual? A ritual is when you go into the Torah and you take it out of the case and you walk around with it. That's a ritual. This is simply playing records. It's just what you do. So that's that. That's the first start. Now, another thing you can do and make a huge difference is if your turntable, like this one here, which is a relatively inexpensive Roy Hall MMF 2.2, it's very nice. It's made at the Project Factory to Roy specifications, and it comes with a felt mat. I am not a fan of felt mats. Felt mats basically attract dust, and they're stylus destroyers if you accidentally put it, So you can get a cork mat like this Project cork mat. Now, cork is a better material. There's a lot of mats. I can mention some other mats that are really good too, but this one is good. It's flat and it will have a change. Everything changes the sound. That's one of the cool things about vinyl. You can tune your front end of your system to sound the way you want it to sound. And people say, well, that's not accurate because it comes from the mastering house and the mastering engineer. The mastering engineer is making his own decisions. He's got speakers of his own choosing. He makes it sound like he wants. What if I don't want it to sound like what he likes it? With my turntable, I can make it sound the way I want it to sound. Now, the other thing you must do is clean your stylus. And you must clean it every side.
Every side. In other words, you play one side of the record, you clean it. You play another side.
You know why? Because I'm going to show you something. How's your wife? The way to handle a record is on the edges like this. You see this? That's how you handle a record. Or like this. You notice that nothing on the surface is touching the record.
Your fingers are on the label and around the outer edge.
Never pick a record up pinch it like that. And you know why? Because your fingers are oily. I don't care how clean you are.
Do you wear gloves?
No.
With the good records, with your really good.
No, I do
Do
not.
you?
No,
do you wear gloves?
No, I do not. No, I'm sorry. I don't wear gloves No. People want to do that, that's fine.
But you're worried about your oils and your sweat.
I handle it like this, I'm not worried about it. If I handle it like this, it's not a problem. Okay, so you don't want to handle it like that because what happens is the oil gets on the outer groove area and then you say, what, the record doesn't have any oil on it? No, you put the stylus down, it touches the oil. The oil immediately clings to the stylus. Now, then it goes into the groove. What's in the groove? Heat. A lot of heat is generated when this thing goes through. There's going to be a little bit, even after you clean it with this machine, there's going to be a little bit of dust. The dust then attracts to the oil and the heat, and it fuses into a ball of badness.
A ball of badness?
Or there was a ball of doo-doo. That was a very famous band in the 80s. Okay, and then the stylus shape is no longer what it was supposed to be. It's now shaped like the dried up dirt. So you really have to clean it, and it's easy to do. Let's not get carried away.
So stylus cleaner is small. It looks it's $20.
Now there's two different kinds of stylus cleaner. There's liquid, and then there's the ball of goo, which is over here.
The ball of goo. We've got one here. There's this you just dip the stylus into, right? And
it's really preferable for the most part because they don't say what's in this. Every once in a while you want to use a liquid, but if the liquid has a solvent in it, or because a lot of these styli are glued in, and if you unglue them, if the epoxy gets unglued from liquid, it'll fall out. So every once in a while it's okay to use it, but not all the time. Most of the time you want to either use a dry brush or one of these Anzaus, the Zero Dust, which I use. And it's a mound of goo, not too gooey. Or you can even, if you don't want to do that, don't tell them. You can go to the stationery store. Do they have stationery stores anymore? No, they don't. You have to go on out.
Staples or something?
Okay, go to Staples and get like a typewriter. They don't have typewriters anymore.
Typewriters.
Okay, you can get blue tack or any kind of sticky stuff and use it. But this is really, really good. It's $60.
You just tap the stylus in there and it pulls the dirt right off of it.
Very carefully lower it in, but make sure not to don't move that platter because you'll rip the stylus right off. But I use this on a $10,000 cartridge, and I've never heard anything because I'm careful. Okay, you need one of the, and a stiff brush too, and a stiff drink. Okay, so that's that.
So your stylus is clean, your record is clean. Can you touch it up with a brush? Would a nice carbon fiber brush help?
Carbon fiber brush. You must have one of these too.
And why? If you've already cleaned the record.
Because dust is going to land on it almost immediately, and then your platter is going to have some dust on it. So when you turn it over, there's going to be some dust. Okay, so you need one of these. So I'll do an impression. Okay. Who am I doing? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's put this on the record. It's not going to spin, but now some people, I've watched them. They go and they press down, figuring the harder you press down, the more it's effective. It's the opposite. It is the opposite. So what you want to do with this, you see there are two rows of brushes on this? Can you see that? Also, don't touch it with your finger like I'm doing it. Try not to do that because the oil again. I'm just doing it because it doesn't. Okay, so let's make believe this is spinning. Okay.
Do you do you turn your turntable on, or does that affect your belt and your motor or anything? No.
You turn it on. You want it running. And you just gently kiss the record with the front surface of the carbon fiber brushes, just the front surface. Okay. You don't press down. You just let it gently touch. And then what you do is you slowly lift it, scoop it up so it's on the back fiber, and then you slowly move it across like that and take it off. And then it grabs all the dust and pulls it off. Okay. It's very simple.
It's just a quick, fast move because you're basically touching it up from the last time when you cleaned it, right? Right. So
one turn around, two turns around, and then slowly scoop it up and then pull
and you're doing both. You're cleaning your records, putting them in sleeves, right? Plastic sleeves, usually? Rice paper sleeves.
For your really collectible records, for the ones that you really care about, these rice papers, they're anti-static, and they will not get dusty. And
guess how much are these for? 35 for 50, so almost $1 each.
Yeah, so if you're garage sailing or you're crate digging and you're buying a record for $1, you might not want to spend $1 for one of these. But if it's a record that let's say you go buy $1 record, you clean it, and it's unbelievably great record, yeah, you want to put it in one of these. And then you've already cleaned the record, so this way it reminds you that you've already cleaned the record because you have it in one of these. The only other thing is if you're a really lazy slob, you can get one of these. These work well. I just reviewed one of these. It's called a Q-Up. And at the end of the record, if you've had too much to drink or you're tired and you fall asleep and the stylus is running at the end of the record, this will lift up automatically. Yes, so this is a digital stylus. Digital is good for this, for stylus gauges. It's good to, yeah, digital is good. Two-position electronic stylus gauge to set your tracking force. Okay, and it's very accurate, and it's really worth having. It's like $79 or something.
So you don't go by what your turntable says, because it'll have a little marking on there maybe.
You can do it that way too, but unless you know what you're doing, you're only going to be approximating it. And if this way, it's right. Now, if you bought a $100 turntable, you might not want to spend $79 on one of these things. But once you've upgraded, the thing that's great about a turntable like this, as basic as it is, you can upgrade the cartridge here to a much better cartridge, and it'll sound much, much better. This arm is good enough that it can handle a much better cartridge. And at that point, you're going to want to get an electronic stylus gauge.
Well, from all your fans and friends, and they're all walking up to you here because they recognize you, I just want to say thank you. You brought so many people into this sport, and you're helping them along the way. Hopefully this helps some of the beginners.
I hope so, and let me tell you something. This is a great thing. Don't be skeptical. Just try it, even if you have to go to a garage sale and buy a cheap turntable. Once you start with this, you won't stop. I know from a fact. So
we're getting them hooked. Thank you so much, Michael. We're taking a few moments.
You bet.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.